We're back, dudes. This is going to be a contrast video. So I don't want anybody to go crazy in the comments, blowing everything up and, getting all angry about the title of the video. This is just to kind of show some of the things that could have been done a little bit better, or maybe some people might have an issue with. I love this gun. This is one of my all-time favorite EDC guns, and I carry it often. So this is just going to be kind of a different perspective on what people might think about carrying it and the overall performance of the gun, ergonomics, all that kind of jazz. So stay tuned. We're going to do a little tabletop review here in a minute. Alright guys, we're out on the range today testing out the M&P 9mm Shield by Smith & Wesson. We're going to see how she holds up. This is about 12 yards from the steel targets. See how I deal with her. There you go, guys. M&P Shield, 9mm. Alright, so we've scooted her back. We're about 30 yards measured out, give or take. This is more of a test for myself. It's not really a realistic scenario. If you were in a situation where you were being robbed or somebody was trying to do you harm, you're not going to be shooting them at 30 yards. You're going to be shooting them at 3 feet, maybe 6 feet, who knows. But this is more for, testing purposes of the sight of the M&P Shield, which is what we're rocking. That's roughly the size of a head, so we're going to try to do some headshots at 30 yards. Let's see what we got here. Shield all loaded up. No judgment. Ooh, we had a failure to fire there. Maybe I didn't rack the chamber. That might help. Hit. Hit. Miss. Miss. Hit. Alright, so we got about 3 out of 7 with that. Alright, now I'm not going to presume to know the distance here. I haven't measured it out this far. I'm not really that concerned about it because this is totally unrealistic. At this point, if you shoot somebody at this distance, you're probably going to jail. So we're just going to assume it's around the 40 yard range, maybe. Just around there somewhere, maybe a little bit longer. Still going to try with the shield, see how many I can get. Got 7 rounds, 6 or 7 rounds in there. I'm going to go for that middle target, see what I can do. I don't have any expectations at this distance. Whew. Alright, so we got about the same, about 3 out of 7. I don't have to count those shots. I wasn't counting that time. Still not bad. Headshots at 35, 40 yards. Still pretty alright with that. Alright, we're going to scoot it back one more time. This is about 5 to 7 yards back further than we just shot. I'm going to go for that all black plate on the left hand side. 0 expectations at this point. This is so far, and if you have to shoot somebody at this distance, you might as well get a rifle, honestly. I mean, that's pretty freaking far. Still using the shield. Alright, let's give her a shot. That aluminum ammo is not really liking it, huh? You had a little failure to eject there. That's the second one I've had today. around, I think. Nope. That was it. Didn't even hit it once. That's all right. I'm not concerned about it. These sights are still really solid. And with that sight picture, that distance, I mean, that is pretty daggone hard right there with a pistol. So either way, I'm still happy with it. Non-issue. All right, just set up a couple extra targets just to kind of have a little fun with it, blow through the rest of the ammo. Got a soda can over there, 3 steel targets there, and 2 more soda cans over there, 1 on that ledge and 1 hanging on that screw. All right, we'll see how my accuracy's holding up today. Those headshots are hard, but these soda cans are going to be even harder. That didn't hit. That was fast. Got her done. And that is a testament as to why you should shoot more often, because you'll miss like me. M&P Shield, guys. Check her out. She's pretty sweet. All right, we're back. So yeah, like the headline says, we are talking about, bam, Smith & Wesson M&P Shield. Now this is the 9mm model. I prefer this one. I think it's a little bit better, a little easier to handle. I've shot both of them, the 40 and the 9mm, and I just think this one handles better overall. You know, less muzzle flip and whatnot. But I really prefer the 9mm cartridge over anything else. I don't know if you guys saw in the video, but we had 2 failure to fires, maybe 3, or not failure to fire, failure to eject, and I think that was due to the ammo, to be perfectly honest. I was doing this new for me, this new aluminum cased stuff. I don't know if anybody has any experience with this, but it just looks like maybe the extractor was chewing up the rim there. I'm not sure. If anybody has any negative experience with this, or positive, either way, leave a comment. Let me know what you think and what your experiences were with it, because mine were kind of 50-50 on functionality. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Shield a little bit. Overall, I love this gun. So please don't go, jumping into the comments and going crazy about, oh, no. I love this gun. This is probably my most carried gun during the spring and summer months. I carry it during the winter and fall also, but I tend to lean a little bit in a different direction during those months. But yeah, I love this gun. I'm just kind of trying to do a different perspective on what people might think before, buying it. Things you might think would be a negative. So for the safety people out there, it's loaded. Uh-oh. Yes, guys, this is not modern day England. I keep my guns loaded. What's the point in having it? You might as well have a rock. If not, we are safe here. We lock them up and keep them away from other people's access to them. But our guns are loaded. All right, so uses for this thing. This is probably going to be primarily an EDC gun. I don't really know. Maybe you could buy it for plinking or something like that. If you're an avid shooter or a collector and you have a big collection, this gun may not be something you would carry. Maybe you have a higher end gun that you like better. This gun is awesome for somebody trying to kind of market on a budget. Like if you're trying to make it by, this thing is awesome for that. I really like it as far as a summer EDC gun. I don't know if you saw in the video, but I was wearing basketball shorts, and that's just because it's not that heavy overall. I don't know the exact ounceage on this thing. And I don't really care personally. If you want to know, I can probably put it in the box below, but you can look it up yourself. I have no issue with this. I wear it with basketball shorts and flip-flops all the time. If I'm going to the beach, presuming that they let you have guns where you're going in the state you're in, I carry this thing with me. It's awesome. And I really like it as far as that's concerned. So, one of the negative aspects of it, ergonomically, this thing... It has some little qualms. This is just a little stack of credit cards that I pulled out of my wallet. I'm not going to show you my information in there, so I'm just going to put these here. This one's just covered in duct tape. But if you put it right up here next to the handle, they are relatively similar. Let's flip this thing over here. Put it underneath. All right. relatively similar in size. So when you're gripping this thing, and based on the width of the handle, it is a single stack, but it's kind of narrow. And if you have 12-year-old little girl hands like I do, it could be possible that you would get a hot spot right there. So you have a little bit of, I don't know, those little scratch there from the gun. Yeah, it's just, it kind of, the way it fits in your hand, it could possibly start to, you know, give you maybe a hot spot on the inside of your hand. I haven't really had any bad experiences with it, but I could see where that could be an issue for some people, just because if you're shooting it a lot, or maybe you aren't, you know, tough, calloused warehouse working hands, then it may eventually cause a hot spot for you. But overall, I really like the ergonomics of it. Now, one of the things that I thought was very odd about this, these serrations here are so freaking cool looking. I really like that, but they are not functional. I'm gonna say, like, they don't protrude or anything. I don't know if you can see there, but they're very, very small. So they don't really offer a lot of traction when you're trying to rack the slide. And with the release here, oh, there we go. With the release here, that's also kind of small. It's very similar in the sense to the Glock. It's kind of hard to access. It does work, you can do it, but I don't know if they make an aftermarket one that you can get and I guess have it be more functional, but these serrations, they don't offer much in the sense of trying to rack the slide. So unless, you know, if that's the reason why you're buying it based solely on looks, it does look very cool, but as far as functionality, I'm not real crazy about those serrations, and I could see how that could be an issue. Another thing that I'm not real fond about with this gun, this is, let me pull this out here. This is the Glock 26. This is a loaded Glock 26. This one's obviously empty right there. But you can put this in here. You can do it with your hands. It goes in very easy. It's not very difficult once it's loaded and the slide is closed. If it's open, I feel like most guns, they accept magazines really easy. See, that one's nothing. Takes nothing. But when you're putting it in like this, when the slide's closed, if you were to not carry one chambered, not carry around chambered, then you want to, you know, put in a little bit more effort pushing the magazine in. That's just my experience with it. With this one, when you're putting the magazine in, it takes some force. So you can't just push it in like that and it just goes right in. You really have to kind of slam it in there, and I don't really like that. I feel like in that scenario, that's just another thing you have to remember. So if there was an active shooter or somebody being robbed or, you know, whatever the case may be, and you had to reload, I feel like that's just another thing you have to worry about. So what if you were trying to fumbling around with it and you went to go pull the trigger or whatever and the magazine fell out just because you didn't hit it hard enough to get it in there? That is a flaw in my opinion. I feel like it should be a little bit easier to go in. That's just me. I don't know. You guys can tell me your opinions on the matter. I don't know. That seems kind of like an issue to me because I don't struggle with it, but I have issues with it when I'm at the range. You know, we'll be playing around, plinking, trying to do quick draw stuff and fast reloads. And I sometimes find that I don't get the magazine all the way set, and that kind of frustrates me a little bit. And it's not like that with Glock. Yes, I will say I'm a huge, huge fan of Glock, but I'm also a huge fan of Smith & Wesson. I really just love good firearms in general. And both of them are good. There's just little things with this one that kind of irritate me a little. All right, so another one. Right in here. I don't know if you can see on camera. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't really have good light. There's a little lever right there underneath the firing pin that you have to get down with your finger in order to be able to remove the slide. And it's kind of hard to do right now, but let me see if I can get it. You could use a tool. I can get it sometimes with my finger. There we go. So you flip this little thing up here, and then it comes right apart. Now that took me a good 30 seconds probably, but just all in all, that's I don't think that's very, I don't know. I think that's not very functional, because then it's just, if you were to do like a battlefield stripping or something like that, see, it's a lot going on in there, and I don't know. This one comes down pretty easy. Let me pull that back. Oh, there we go. Ah, daggone it. Of course I'm gonna mess it up on camera. But pull the trigger, pull that, pull these two little pins down, and the slide comes right off. Except when you're trying to do it on camera. Whatever. Either way, you guys get the point. If you mess with Glocks, you know how to do it. The point of it is that it just seems like there's a lot that goes into this gun that's kind of, I don't know. It could go either way as far as people liking it. I feel like when Glock makes guns, and a lot of people are not crazy about Glocks. A lot of people don't like them, and that's fine. Everyone has their own opinion on the matter. But I love the Glock simplicity. Like, it's very, very easy to take down and break apart, and it's just awesome. And I like that. The sights are terrible. I would replace them absolutely. Sometimes they're bulky, clunky, and they have a lot of, weird looking boxy type edges. This one is way sexier looking, much sexier, but it also has little things in it that I'm not too crazy about. So all in all, there's that. This is a polymer frame gun, so this is plastic with a steel slide and steel little catch points here. The trigger on this thing, I have recently fallen in love with this trigger. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm more accurate with this than I am with the Glock. Obviously the sights are much better. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell there, but the sights are way better in my opinion on the Smith & Wesson. I just like that better. I think that you get a better sight picture with these, and I find myself to be more accurate. But when you're pulling this trigger, it has this gritty take up right here, and then you get, your pull. I like it. I really do. I think it gives you enough time. You feel that gritty take up, and right there, I like that. So that's one thing that's a plus on this thing. I like that part of it. But overall, if I was to compare triggers to Glock and Smith & Wesson, I'm going to give it to Smith & Wesson all day, just because this trigger is so much more functional. I think some people aren't real crazy that it's like a two-parter, that there's two pieces here. That's a non-issue for me. I never really noticed a difference anyway. I just noticed that grittiness when you're taking up the trigger. Fun-wise, this thing is a dream to carry. It really is. It's light, it's ergonomic, it's super thin. So like we were talking before, it may cause a hot spot eventually, but as far as actually carrying it in your pants, it's thin, it doesn't imprint a lot. I really like that about it. I think it's just really wise, like really well done when they designed that, because when you look at like the 26 and the 19 and other guns that are designed to be portable and carryable, they're a little bit thicker, and this one I just think they did a really good job overall. Now, as far as ease of owning this thing, oiling and upkeep is not that difficult. I really can't stress that enough. I probably put, I don't even know, 500-600 rounds to this thing and haven't had to clean it yet. It's probably due here in 100 rounds or so, but it's really, it's gonna last. It keeps firing. Now, who knows? That may be the reason why we had a failure to eject, but it could just be that the ammo is crappy. Who knows? Now, let's see here. I always do these nowadays. Under 3 inches, that is my hand size. And in my palm, it's a little over, right in there. So, a little over. This gun itself does not come with this little pinky extension here. This was something I had to buy separate. This is one of those like Pierce grips that you can buy aftermarket. It comes with a much smaller little ledge there, and I personally don't like that. It makes the gun feel like this. It becomes a 3-finger gun before it, like that. And I don't like that. If you add this Pierce grip on here, you get the perfect amount of finger room for someone with my hand size. Now, if you have any bigger than mine, it's not going to fit. You're going to need either a bigger magazine or a different gun, or you're going to have to learn to shoot 3 fingers. But it also does come with this magazine. I think you only get 2. So you get one of these and the shorter one. But this is a 8-round extended magazine. And this one, it offers a lot more room. Well, maybe not a lot, but a decent amount. And with this one, the only thing I would say about it that is kind of a negative in my opinion is that the imprinting with this magazine as opposed to this one is a lot more. This one hides a little bit better. I'm just not really sure why, but it does. Even though they're about the same length, I don't know. It just hides better for some reason. Now, with the reputation of the company, you're not going to have to worry too much with Smith & Wesson just because they are a staple company. That is like one of America's companies as far as gun companies are concerned, and they are reliable, well-made guns, American-made guns, and I just think that if you buy one, you're going to be totally happy with it. You may have those little issues that I was talking about. I wouldn't stress too much about that because those are really the only things I can argue that I'm not crazy about. Maybe the safety, but you can get it without the safety also. I'm going to attest to the fact that I've heard people say that they don't like safeties on their guns. There's a couple guys like the the Yankee Marshal. He says that he doesn't like the safety on this thing. I have never one time, I shoot this thing all the time, and I've never once had that accidentally activate or, you know, failure to fire or anything like that. No, it doesn't happen. This is a very stiff safety, and it has to be manually and physically pushed up in order to activate. I have not had any issues with that. If you guys have, you know, comment on that also, because I'm really interested to hear these stories, because I've really never had a problem with it. So I think that as far as that's concerned, if you're really that worried about not having a safety on your gun, get one without a safety on it, because they do make them. They have a ton of different models as far as that's concerned, and I think it's really a non-issue. The biggest thing about this that I love, and I know the video was supposed to be, you know, why this gun sucks, but I tried. I really did try. I'm telling you. I sat there and I thought and tried to find the biggest flaws I could find with this gun and just really bash it and kind of tear it apart, and I couldn't do it. I love it. It's a great gun. There are some little minor nuances that you may have issues with, or, you know, you may not like, but overall this gun is absolutely a killer. I'm going to say that out of all the guns I've shot as far as EDC guns, you know, the 43, the 26, the 19, this one, I shot a couple of Tauruses. Just, I can't even think of them all off the top of my head, but I've shot so many small concealable guns, and I'm going to say overall, bang for the buck, this is the best one. I really love it, and overall, it's really great. It comes with everything that you could want. It comes with a short magazine, extended magazine, the Novak style sights. It's just great. A great warranty, great company. Here's the kicker. You know what I paid for this gun? $320. I got it on Black Friday, so I'm gonna go and say that that's, you know, that's a rarity that you're ever gonna get it like that. But I got this on Black Friday like 2 years ago, and it was $320 to my FFL, so like a $20 charge on top of that. It was a steal. Of course I bought it. I got it brand new on Buds. But yeah, for that price, I mean, for $320 you can almost get 2 of these for 1 Glock, almost. And I think that's just a really good deal. And I think that if you're looking at a concealed carry gun, something that's portable, functional, thin, low profile, this is the way to go. Even if you look at like the Glock 43, it has, what is it? It's like $479 out the door right now, $479 right around there. It has those crappy sights, 6-round magazine capacity. You can get 8 rounds with this one, plus 1 in the chamber. So, I mean, it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. If you're a Glock fanboy, or you know, whatever, you just hate Smith & Wesson, then go buy something else. But as far as overall everything being awesome on this gun, you don't really have a lot to complain about. There's really nothing in here that you can find as a flaw. I've tried, believe me. I mean, maybe you want to pick on the fact that it doesn't have a rail for mounting a flashlight or something like that, but a lot of the guns don't. So, that's my rant. This gun's awesome. Not going to complain anymore. I'm just going to tell you ahead of time, if you want a good EDC concealable gun, this thing is it. It is awesome. For $325 to $360 in that price range, what are you going to do? Awesome. Go pick one up. Like, comment, and subscribe, gentlemen. Hit that button down there. We got a contest coming up at about 1,500 subscribers. So once that hits, we're going to do a giveaway. All right, fellas. Later.